Hello everybody, James Rink here. I'm with Adrian Espinoza, and today we're going to do a video, and I guess it'll be the first of a series of videos promoting forceversuspower.com, which is Adrian's website, in which he communicates with different entities. One of them is Michael Jackson, and I'm wearing my Beat It jacket. So I don't know how long I'm going to be wearing this thing because it's so hot. I don't know how in the world Michael wore this stuff. But we're going to talk with, maybe we'll be able to communicate with Michael today, but I do have about 20-30 pages of channel communications with Michael that I'd like to share. And Adrian also is going to share with you some information about his software. So Adrian, why don't you go ahead and chime in and give the audience members a little intro background information about yourself.
Okay, thank you, James, for having me on. I've been on James's show for quite a while with him and Peter the Insider, and also Super Soldier Talk. And I've had some quite unique experiences myself in the past, and I've talked about those in some of James's videos. I also came across a really cool software which I want to kind of give a little background about what I do. I'm a computer programmer with the different types of companies that I'm working with, which is called the SRC4U software. And it seems like it's been helping a lot of people with different types of situations since I've been using it for quite some time now. Also along with this Skynet software that I've obtained through the years, which is part of this super soldier by the name of Alan. And Alan has given me access to this computer software for quite some time, and I've been working with that, how I've been helping people with their SSP files on how to work with my software and along with the SRC4U. And the SRC4U works really well with my GeoTran software, which I use as codes. And I use these codes to access the matrix. And for anybody that wants to know more about how that works, please contact me on my website. The SRC4U is a really unique radionics software that I use that can help people with different types of situations, whether it be legal situations, whether it be situations with stress or your health. We do not cure, treat, or diagnose, but we do help people energetically on how we can help people with different types of different reasons, with whether it be mental health, emotional health, relationships, if you want to stop smoking, or even addictions. Certain people that I've helped with, I helped a lady that was going through a really bad court case with her son or whatever, and it seemed like everything went pretty smooth for them, and I helped them with that software with the SRC4U. I also helped my father actually was able to keep his SUV, so I ran that for him. I'm just kind of giving a little brief information on how it's helped people and how it can help you, and also I've been helping James with some muscle growth and to help him taller with differences, taking his time with that. I work with another software called the eBody, and the eBody helps with muscle growth to taller, re-aging, cycling process, helps with the right and the left brain, helps with the 14 brain rings, which I run for that. It can help with different types of situations, and I'm hoping by our next video with me and James, I can show you how that works and how it can help people. And I'll show you on my side of the screen on how some of the softwares do work once I get them up and running and everything's up to date. I'm going to be doing some more updates tonight on my computer. So anybody that would like to know more about the updates and the cocktails, on how cocktails can help them. Cocktails are different things that you can put in the SRC4U to run overnight with the radionics on how it can help people with different types of situations, such as if you're having problems, like again, with your health, relationships, if you want to release any negative entity attachments, or if you just want to charge your water. I can even do water. Or people, like I said, if you have legal issues, And I know that a lot of people nowadays are having a lot of legal issues that they can't get certain things off their record, or if they're having problems with their tickets, or and that puts a lot of stress on a person too, because they can't afford those kinds of things to go to court and lawsuits and things like that. But I'm hoping that I could show people how it can help and improve their lives. And I'm also using several different softwares. I use one called the She Emotion. She Emotion really helps with a lot of your emotional things that are going on, and it also works with affirmations that really help as well. And I've been using that along with my clients, and I've been noticing a lot of changes and transformation with that. And over the years since I've been working with James, James has also noticed that I've obtained a lot of clients since we've been doing it, and it seems like people are pretty satisfied with the services that we're giving to people and how they can help people. And I also want to throw in there that I'm also going to be putting in my software along with what James is able to give to people that are interested in the GONS and also the NeoCube. And I just want to explain a little bit about my background with the NeoCube, since James has given me that. Over the years, I've worked with the NeoCube, and I've seen a lot of impressive transformational changes in my life on how that's actually helped me. It helped me with my health. I was going through a crisis, a period of bad health. And every now and then I'll get sick, little tiny sick things, but nothing is really bad. I've noticed a lot of things that working with these different devices, like NeoCube, the GONS and all that, and Ormus on how it can help. And James really knows how to really push on that to help people. And I feel that anybody who purchases a NeoCube is going to be sitting pretty, and they're going to see some results, because it really has helped me in my life along with my software. And along with the session with the software, we're even willing to give discounts for people that can't really afford a whole lot. We know that there's a lot of people out there on Social Security that really need the help, and they don't, and they're been searching for help. They've been going to doctors, and they just seem like they just can't get any help. So, and also, like I said, the big thing with the legal issues, we can help people with certain types of problems like that. If you're going through a ticket, or you got sued for something, or yeah, you really didn't want to go to court, or something that could help you in the legal system that's kind of not in your favor, and we can help that get in your favor. Also, I want to mention I can also help with gambling. Anybody that wants to go gambling, I can also help them with that as well with the software. And I've run the software for my friend. She won $800. I've run the software for another friend. She won the lottery. She won over $12 million. Some people, again, take the credit for it, and that's okay. Some people don't want to pay me up, but it's a miracle to actually watch on how some of this software and technologies can really touch somebody's life and transform their life and help them. So I just wanted to mention that, James, and I'm hoping that people will have an open mind and an open heart to that. Is there any questions, James?
Yeah, so if you help somebody make $12 million, you must be really rich. Do they help you out?
That's the whole thing. It's like you can help somebody. And like I said, I've noticed some people have taken the credit for it and they haven't paid me, which is okay, but I can see how the software has really helped other people. And I'm starting to get testimonials of people and how it has helped them in the past, and I've run into different types of situations on how it's helped them. And that's just a little bit of something that I add in my software. So if that's something that people want to look into, we can look into that. I can also run my software for people that have missing animals, people that that want to find their animal. Maybe I can't find their animals. Maybe I don't have the technology right now to help track the animal down, but I do have the technology to help people so that they can find their animals. It's just the same thing with you can do the same thing with the radionics, or you can do the same thing with the NeoCube. But some people, you know, some people would like to do all of them. It just all depends. It's you never want to limit yourself on what you have and what you can do for people. So I just wanted to mention that.
Great. Okay, so Adrian's website is forceversuspower.com, and that's FORCEVSPOWER. So it's actually spelled VS, not versus, but it is forcevspower.com. And my website is neologicaltech.com, neologicaltech.com, and you can check out the Gons and the Neocubes, which some of which will be in stock by December. So go check that out when you got a chance. Now, of course, a lot of the listeners are patiently waiting to hear the channeled message from Michael Jackson. So let's go ahead and give them what they are wanting to listen to. So let's go ahead and start with how did all this begin? How did you reach out to Michael Jackson? Or actually, I probably should answer that because it was my idea. But I guess we worked on this together because you are the seer and I had the questions. Initially, I wanted Michael Jackson's assistance on some projects that I was setting up, creative project for a new company idea I had, and in the process, Michael came through and he gave us a lot of other information, because I had so many questions not related necessarily to my project, but about his life, because there was a lot of things going on that, for instance, like how he died, or more specifically, did he kill himself or was it overdose? And why don't you go ahead and talk about that, Adrian?
Well, actually, Jane, we discovered that yes, Michael Jackson was somewhat assassinated, and we know that he was part of the Illuminati group, part of these different types of groups that he joined. And what we discovered is that Michael Jackson did go through a period of abuse with his father. And we even did me and James, we even did a video. I just want to notice or let everybody know that we did do a video on the radio show explaining how he died and what we discovered about Michael Jackson. And one thing I do want to mention about Michael Jackson is that he is looking for spiritual mediums to contact his family members or anybody who was related to his death, or do some type of investigation to find out how he really died, because we discovered that he doesn't remember a lot of the things that happened to him. And since me and James are more of the conspiracy believers, we believe that Michael Jackson, his memories have been wiped. And we do believe that these people that were part of this group, or you call them Illuminati, whatever, we do believe that that was part of the mind wiping stuff or the mind control that was going on. And we do believe that Michael Jackson was killed, and he was that there was more to the story than what meets the eye and what they're talking about. And he has made contact, and there's times where I woke up and my blinds, like I said the last time in the video, that my blinds were being pulled the next day that we did the channel, and I was using my board to channel him. And that's another thing I wanted to mention, is that we can channel any spirit, because I am a clairvoyant spirit audient, and I can channel any spirit or an ascended master. We've also channeled this other goddess that James wanted me to channel, as far as this herb that he wanted me to do. And I believe that anybody who wants to make contact with those loved ones on the other side, I would be more than happy to assist you in that, so that we can communicate with those on the other side for you, whether it be family members, aunts, uncles, ascended masters, or even we can even do sessions channeling Abraham Lincoln, or we can do Tesla. I mean, it's basically unlimited what the mind can do and what we can channel. And we also can do what we call spirit attachment releases. Again, I could teach you about how to do that, and we can also communicate with those on the other side that are causing those issues in your home or hauntings, because a lot of people don't know who to turn to. They usually turn to a pastor or a priest. But, there's other things out there that they can contact us with, and we can help them with those different situations. And I'm hoping we can assist them in that.
Yeah, Adrian, you're going way off topic. The question was who killed Michael Jackson, and then we jumped around. I'm sure that is relevant to what you're doing, but for the sake of continuity, could you please go back to that question? What can you describe the details about his death? Do you
Well,
recall?
I don't remember a lot of what we saw, but I do remember that from what they were saying is that he was drugged and he was killed, assassinated. But his doctor, from what we found out, that his doctor had nothing really to do with it. We know that a lot of people that were part of those groups were either paid off or they were trying to assassinate him in a way on how to drug him or kill him in that way. That's what we've discovered when we talked to Michael Jackson, and he wanted us to do some more investigation on, like I said, his death, because he doesn't remember a whole lot of what went on at that time.
Well, he has said that the person that killed him was somebody that goes by the name of Adam Kane Kilsborn.
Yeah.
He claimed that this guy was his financial advisor. So now, sometimes when you do this type of communication, sometimes names might come out not exactly correct. Maybe some letters were inverted. So it may not necessarily be the person's name, but generally speaking, the title, a financial advisor, that information probably is correct. So can you elaborate more about who this Adam Kane Kilsborn figure is?
Well, we discovered that he was a man that was part of these groups that we were talking about. That when we discovered what year and what month Michael Jackson joined the Illuminati, we discovered that this Kane person was somehow involved in that, and we're still kind of doing the investigation to figure out, like, do a lot of research to figure out, like, how he was tied in with that, and who was the man in the hat, that was in the airplane with Michael Jackson. We're thinking that he was part of that, and we also believe that he also had a connection with what was it, Elvis as well. Yeah.
All right. So I think it's important to mention that essentially near the end of his life, he was having some issues with Sony. They were trying to get a hold. Of course, Michael owned the rights of the Beatles album, which was worth that alone was worth in excess of $1 billion, and some estimate his net worth to be $1.5 billion. So a lot of that wealth was probably someone was trying to get a hold of it. Maybe somebody promised them something that they took them out. And Michael's even commented that the high level executives at Sony were racists. But Michael, he always broke a lot of racial barriers, and which was really amazing considering that he was the first black artist that got on MTV. I believe that was in 1982 or 83. I think probably 83 with Billie Jean when that first came out. So many people were requesting it, and so he basically showed the world that it doesn't matter what your skin color is. You can achieve whatever your dreams are if you certainly put the work in it. Because I know he was definitely a workaholic. Now, I did want to mention that he joined the Illuminati in June of 1983, and that was essentially right around the Thriller album. I think Thriller came out in December of '83, if I'm not mistaken. So he must have joined just around then. I mean, he would have probably been planning it, or maybe the Thriller album might have been his initiation process, because they have a lot of dark genre with that whole organization. And so what happened is, in about, I think it was in May of '84, he was hired to do a Pepsi commercial, and his hair caught on fire, and they had to do reconstructive surgery, and he started getting addicted to painkillers at that point, and apparently he was, even many years later, he was still in pain from that issue. So what we think maybe what was going on is Michael repeatedly said that even though he joined the Illuminati for fame and money, he did not like how they were abusing children. He saw rampant pedophilia, and we basically think, and Adrian and myself, and of course Michael has actually said this, that essentially he told the Illuminati to piss off, that he was not going to go along with it, and we think they burned his hair as a ritual, because they put fireworks in his hair. I think there was like 6 takes, so there's the number 6. Of course, I know people are a lot of numerology, and so there might have been something going on there. I don't know. Could you elaborate on that? Is this safe to assume this is correct?
I would say yes, that is correct. And again, like I said, there was a lot of things that he was holding back that he didn't want to talk about with the with different types of situations. You know, like with not to get off subject, but with the Beatles, and then with the Elvis, on how they had a connection and how long he's been with the Beatles. But we do know that he did perform in a lot of the different types of rituals that the Illuminati wanted to do, like the Thriller dance. We do know that he wanted to do the Thriller, the the song where he said, "Just beat it." You know, we are talking about how you said, you know, he just basically told him to piss off. You know, I'm not going to do what you tell
Well,
him.
do you think that song "Beat It" was directed to the Illuminati? He was telling the Illuminati to beat it.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, and that was the first thought that came to me. You know, when he just said, you know, just beat it. You know.
Well, the "Beat It" jacket was red, and the Illuminati, they like the colors red and black. And of course, Michael was red, and that actually was his favorite colors anyway. Uh, so I just okay, but um, so what else can you tell us about some of his experiences? Maybe how about the pedophilia? Because he was opposed to pedophilia, but so many people accused him of being a pedophile. So what can you explain to the audience what we learned?
Well, we discovered that the pedophilia didn't have really much to do with him. We do know that if we're going back into, you know, the conspiracy side of believing in the monarch society, I guess you could say, project, we believe that his clone was created through Monarch Solutions, and we believe that Michael Jackson did have a clone, and that he was not involved in a lot of this pedophilia stuff, because we know that the real Michael Jackson was an ET, and we do know that he wasn't human, and we know that he was sent down from the Federation to heal the world and the children, and that's why he so much loved children, because he really wanted to. His mission was to heal the world, and he knew that a lot of children would follow him, and the Illuminati knew it too, and this is why they created a clone trying to make Michael Jackson look like a pedophile. In which, what that's one of the things that they do. You know, they try to make you look like you're crazy, or you're a pedophile, or you're a criminal, or you're a terrorist. And we believe that he really loved children, and he would have done nothing to harm children, and he was there to heal the world and to bring a message to peace to the world. And it was the same message that Martin Luther King had, the same message that JFK had. And, you know, and it's not jumping in the subject, but we know, me and James know, that JFK really wanted to change the world, just like Michael Jackson.
Right. So now there were some reports of Michael Jackson getting on airplanes with some children and going to remote destinations. Michael has no memories of that, so we think that might have been a clone. There were other memories, for instance, of I mean, we would ask Michael about Gavin, and nothing. Apparently, nothing went on with Gavin, and he actually wrote a message about to Gavin. I guess I could read this. It's only a sentence or two. This again is on forcevspower.com. Hello, Gavin. I love you. Please forgive me. I was not responsible for what happened between me and you. I am so sorry. I hope we meet again, but life moves on, and I hope your life will thrive. I don't know what I can say to say I am sorry, but it was not me. I would not do anything to harm you. Not my intent. Love, Michael. Now, Gavin was the 14-year-old that was part of the 2005 sexual abuse trial, and of course, Michael was. I think the term is acquitted. There were like 14 or 11 charges of 14. I don't know, remember the specifics, but all charges were dropped, which is really amazing considering most of these trials, prosecutors are not going to. They're going to try to at least get one or two. So in fact that he got everything cleared just shows you that they really didn't have any evidence on him. And we think that basically, because Michael even told, was it President Obama? Of course, Obama was elected in 2008.
Yeah.
Did Michael know Obama? Did he say that? Yeah, I think Michael actually said this, and it probably is in here if I could search for it. But he told Obama that he knew about pedophile, what is it, Pizzagate while it was going on. So, yeah, he was doing what he could to stop it, but evidently they targeted him instead. So he was a targeted individual. And Michael did confirm that he was an indigo and that he is on the other side. I guess he's on a spaceship now with the Federation, and he looks like he looks like a being with a triangle face with diamonds studded all over his body. Of course, that's his astral form. Yeah. Which interestingly, Michael loved to put a lot of shiny, shimmering stuff in his clothing. So you can go look through it. Yeah. So that, I guess he was referring to what he looked like. Okay, so and also I want to mention that the issue about the baby dangling over the balcony, and Michael claims that was his clone.
Mm-hmm.
So he would never do that. I think that was Blanket. That was his child, Blanket, the youngest one. Okay.
We did mention about the guns as well.
What's that?
That he had guns in his.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. So we asked about. Apparently, right after he died, there were a couple of vans. I don't know how many. Look it up, but there were some vans that showed up to remove. There were 8 removal vans at his L.A. mansion, and Janet claims it was to stop fans from looting the mansion. So we asked Michael what specifically was in those vans, and Michael claims there was a gun collection in there. And there's probably a lot of his furniture was in there too, but I don't know if you need 8 removal. I mean, I think that must have meant 8 removal trucks, because a van, you really don't use a van. Maybe they, like the Ryder trucks, the smaller ones. I don't know, but still, that's pretty substantial. Actually, the furniture in that mansion was owned by the property owner, so. Yeah, they would not have been removing the furniture. The furniture, as far as I'm aware, it may actually still be in the house. I think it's on the market. He rented that house. He didn't actually own it. But yeah. So he said many people were watching him, and he kept weapons there to protect. I guess he was worried about riots or something. I don't know. So where should we take this next?
I think we can go into some of the music that he wrote. if you wouldn't mind telling the audience, the listeners, about the songs that he wrote that we channeled, or
Right. Well, we didn't really spend much time asking specifically the details of each song, although that could possibly come in another video. If the audience members, if you would like to learn about specific songs, like how he came up with the idea, why don't you go ahead and write it out in the comment section, and we will next time we do this, we'll answer those questions. But he did write a new song. He calls it "Till Death Do Us." Here, make sure I say it right. Death do us part. Death do us apart. And we do not know. I mean, we have the lyrics for the song, but we do not know the melody, the background music for it. Of course, Michael had his own unique style. And it would be kind of cool that if we could replicate that. We're working on that. We still haven't troubleshooted how we could do it, because apparently when Michael communicates with you, Adrian, it's just through what, words only?
yeah, he communicates through channel, uh, and I use my spirit board as well.
Well, why can't you just ask him to sing the song to you?
Well, I just wanted to mention something really quickly. On that Death Do Us Part song, I was watching a movie called the Happy Birthday, or Happy Death Day. And when I watched that movie, James, I started thinking about Michael Jackson. And the reason why I thought about that song is because in that movie, it talks about how we go through this cycle process, reincarnation. You know, we talk about that in the basically, well, you've talked about it in your Super Soldier videos on how people, we talked about how they come back and reincarnate, and some people come back and they go through that recycle process. And we know that their plan is to recycle people. That's part of the Illuminati's plan. And I believe that Michael Jackson was putting a little bit of hints here and there in his music. And I believe that that song that he wrote on that was about the recycling process. It's about the ascension process. It's about people that are going to go into the next phase of evolution into the new world that is coming. And I believe that that's part of the plan of the matrix that we're living in now, is that people will, you know, go through their recycle process, but until they learn to break that recycle process, they're going to be able to move forward. So that was one of the reasons why that song came through when I was channeling that song, and that was a new song that he was talking about. So it kind of referred me back to that same movie. You know, what is the cycle that we're going through in life, and how do we break that cycle? So I just wanted to mention that.
All right. Well, I think maybe now would be a good time to actually read the lyrics. Can you actually? Well, actually, going back to my question, can Michael actually sing the song to you, and then you could sing kind of how it sounds? I'm not asking to
Uh,
put you on the spot with your musical talents here, but
yeah, I would have to do in our next session with the board, and maybe people can ask questions in the comments, like some of the songs that might come through with the board, and then I can kind of go from there and channel. Um, and I would like to set up a time to do that for everybody. So it give it people an opportunity to ask questions and to understand how does this work. You know, do you channel it? Do you use a board? Do you and I want people to feel comfortable with asking questions with Michael Jackson. And I do believe that Michael Jackson does communicate with us, but I wanted to kind of give people an example of what we have already discovered based on what we've already heard and channeled and things like that, and kind of give people an idea how that's going to sound, because we don't really know quite sure how the lyrics, how they're all put together with the song, but we know that there was a message behind, a cultural message that was behind each song that he played, just like with the Thriller, just like with the Death Do Us Part, just like the and I explained to you what the Death Do Us Part was all about because I just discovered that one. That was a kind of a new one to me that just came to me. And then the other one, Heal the World. How we were talking about, Michael Jackson, all he wanted to do is heal the world, before he died. And it was about that same time, almost close to that same time when they tried to say he was a pedophile, with
Yeah,
his children.
yeah, and "Heal the World" was his favorite song. We did ask him that question. So here are the lyrics. So I'm not going to even try to sing this. It's basically going to sound like a poem, but this, death do us part. Don't cry, the window's open. Try to see into my eyes. Baby, don't cry. Daddy's coming home to stay. It is time to play. Put your toys away. Do you just wonder how much I love you? You don't need to ask. Just know how much I love you. I am coming home to stay. Well, hello, King George. I am Michael, the punk star. Do you want to sing to me? We will go to the movies and dance to the King of Rock. Jump as high as you can go and don't stop. I am the King of Rock, the punk star. But rocking it, rock, rock, rock. 'Kay? Picking it, Joey, down the man. Rock it, Joey. I am the King of Rock, rocking it, talk, talk, talk. I am the King of Rock. Talk to me, Joey. Start your dance. Let it rock. Talk to me, talk, talk, talk. Jump as high as you can go. Talk to me, go Joe Star. Now you are the King of Rock. Go jump high in the sky and grab the King of Rock. Talk to me, talk, talk, talk. I am the King of Rock. And he just like, something like, I don't, Michael does that like the high pitched thing, but yeah, it's something like that right there. So essentially, King George was an artist he used to listen to when he was a boy. He used to sing blues, and George Michael's. Oh wait, that's not George. Okay, that's not George Michael's, who was an artist. Sorry. And Joe Starr was an invisible friend that he had when he was growing up. So I don't know if any of this stuff is true. I suppose maybe someone in the family might know, but I did ask Michael about the N-word because I know a lot of black artists use the N-word, rappers, and I'm not even going to say it because in my opinion, it's extremely offensive. But Michael commented that word, he says, it pisses me off. I don't like that word. I was told that my whole life. Whoever says that, I will kick their ass. My greatest idol is Martin Luther King. So, yeah. And people were very racist towards Michael, especially when he was back in the 50s. Well, it would have been the 60s, really, even though he was born in 58. But he experienced a lot of that, so I could definitely understand why he would feel that way. And where else should we take this? So he didn't fake his death. Some people were asking if he faked his death. He apparently is on the other side, but there are clones of him still, I guess, in different facilities. So I guess they theoretically could bring him back. Might be kind of hard to explain to the audience members how that could happen. He wanted to, of course, Neverland Ranch is on the market right now because the Jackson estate is trying to pay off some debt. Apparently, Michael left a lot of bills behind that he was going to pay with his "This Is It" tour in 2008, but obviously that did not happen. What was it, 2009? Close enough. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say 2009.
Okay, so we also have some messages for his children. And for Madonna. So yeah, Michael did date Madonna for a while, and I think what happened is when he was over at her house, she had a lot of vulgar, pornographic photos, blown up photos on her wall, like artwork, and I think it kind of freaked him out a little bit. And so I don't know what the specifics was. Michael did not talk about that specifically, but he did mention that. Because I did ask about Madonna. I said, "Do you have a thing for Madonna, or was it the other way around?" And Michael commented, "Yes, I did like her, but Madonna was cheating on me. But that's normal for Madonna. She also owes me money that she never paid back." And I said, "Well, how much does she owe you?" And Michael said, 20 million. I had a big heart, but too many people took advantage of my money. She wanted to buy real estate, and she was in a real tough spot, so a real rough spot. So I don't know. I mean, 20 million. I don't know how much. This is back in the 80s, so I mean, I don't know how much real estate she needed to buy for 20 million, for crying out loud. I think she could probably buy Neverland Ranch. So I don't know what the deal with that was. And so I asked Michael, "Do you have any messages for Madonna?" And he said, "Yeah, give me my money back. You owe me. Ha ha ha. Hello, Madonna. You will not blow up the White House. I will blow you up first. Take it how you like it. They may try to kill someone I know." Oh, okay. He jumped on the subject. Apparently a lot of his family members are being targeted by the Illuminati, and along with his doctor, Conrad Murray. He had a message for Conrad. And again, Conrad was the one, he spent 2 years in jail for allegedly killing Michael from an overdose. And we did talk a little bit about him, and Michael said specifically that Conrad was framed. He says, I don't want, okay, he says, "Hello, Conrad, you will be okay, but do not seek help. They are watching you." And he said, "Conrad will get his justice, but they are not the real people that killed me. Conrad, don't die. Help is on the way." So all those people out there who are angry at Conrad, go ahead.
I also believe Johnny Depp had a connection with Michael Jackson.
Who?
Johnny.
Johnny
Yeah, Johnny Depp.
Depp.
Uh-huh.
Is Michael talking to you right now?
Yeah, he just wanted me to let the audience know that he had a connection with Johnny Depp too somehow.
Well, can you elaborate?
He's telling me that Johnny Depp had a connection with Madonna and that both of them were into some deals with each other that he can't talk about, but he's also saying that they both owed him money. That's all he's just telling me.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe the combination of those two together might have owed him 20 million. So it wasn't maybe not all Madonna. And there were probably other property developers. Who knows what's going on here? Maybe.
Johnny Depp did buy a lot of real estate. I remember, like in some of his videos, he was basically selling some of his real estate not too long ago. And this is what Michael Jackson's telling me, is that he had close relations with those two, and that Kane somehow had a connection with them as well.
And Kane was apparently the one who killed him. So let me pull up specifics on Kane. Let's see what we can find about him. I'm just searching the website here. So he is a man with a cigar. He mentions that. If he never died, he would have, of course, paid off Neverland Ranch. Of course, knowing Michael, he'd probably just keep spending the money. He'd probably still be in debt. Because I know Michael, he wanted to build a wedding monument in Miami. He mentioned that, and some other. We'll see. There was something else he wanted to build. If it'll come to me. But okay, going back here to Kane. So Kane was in the Illuminati. We figured that much out. So apparently, 2 hours after his death, they shut down LA airport for 2 hours, where a mysterious private jet departed from the airport, and the staff of the airport were told to ignore the plane. And apparently, yeah, Michael says that was Kane, my killer, and an employee of the airline saw him too and reported him because he was smoking, but the airline told the employee to shut up. So this guy, they shut the whole airport down because he thinks he is God. He's one of the richest people in the world. So I mean, these folks have $1 billion is chunk change to that level. I know Michael, of course, he was the king of pop and he was extremely wealthy. But the Illuminati level wealth, it goes up a lot higher than that because we're talking about the secret space program, off-world bases, um, and they have quintillions of dollars of wealth that's channeled off-world and underground bases. So basically, $1 billion is chunk change. So what would be the motivation for Kane wanting to? Because I don't think if Kane was that high level of Illuminati, he probably didn't care about Michael's fortunes. There's probably something else. What was the deal? Do you have any idea? Can Michael comment about that, Adrian?
Well, he's telling me it was more about the exposure with the children of the world. When you look at new children that are coming in, like Indigo, Star Children, and Kane already knew who he was. They already knew he wasn't human. They knew everything about Michael Jackson, and they wanted to put a stop to the Federation.
But, Kane must have liked Michael at some point in order to bring him into the organization. So there was probably at one point Kane said, "Oh, this is a great opportunity. We could bring Michael in. We could train him, maybe reprogram him." Is sometimes is the word they like to use. What I mean, how did that relationship sort of deteriorate? Can you comment about that?
Well, if you look at Michael Jackson, he could have been part of the secret space program. He could have been part of any My Lab experiments that went on at the time, and Kane was part of those projects. And Kane was assigned as his handler, as we know that. And we know that the Illuminati do put different handlers that are in place through these different projects. And if he was involved in that, then somehow he was also tied in with that. And Michael Jackson felt like it was important for him to join the Illuminati for the wealth, which I don't know why he did that. Maybe he did that because there's a conspiracy behind that as well. Maybe Michael Jackson had it all planned out to expose them and then came out, you know.
Well, back in the early 80s, Michael was attempting to get away from his family, the Jackson 5, and break off to be a solo artist. And he was looking for any way to boost his career to ensure that he would not have to go back to because really he had, in my opinion, he had abusive childhood. However, Michael doesn't really view what his father did to him as abuse. Um, so maybe it was a way for him as an opportunity. He saw it as an opportunity, uh, but who really knows? Maybe you should ask Michael. How much was he aware what the Illuminati was about back in the early '80s before he back in from 1980 and 1983?
Well, he says he wasn't quite too much aware of what they were doing, but at the time when he joined James, his family was very poor, and I mean, not to the extent of the kind of money that the Illuminati have, but he, like you said, he wanted to climb up there in the ladder just enough so that he can expose the what the events of what was going on, and that's why he made those songs, because he didn't want the Illuminati thinking that he was exposing them by making those songs, but he made the songs to let people know, just like the recycling process, like I was saying about Happy Death Day, the movie, that was exposure. And we were talking about in one of Peter's videos about the cabin in the woods. So it's just like certain types of movies that are linked in with these certain types of songs or rituals that the Illuminati paid Michael Jackson to do. He put it in a way where I'm throwing out the message. I'm letting people know this is what's going on, and I'm gonna throw out the exposure. And when he started realizing that they were crooked, and he didn't know that they were crooked, that's when he started throwing out the exposure. And then that's when the Illuminati caught on what he was doing, and the Illuminati were saying, "Okay, now we're going to cut your contract because you broke the contract. You're exposing us. You're exposing us, and now we're going to delete you." And that's pretty much what Cain told him and then when Cain told him to piss off in that one song, just beat it, then he realized he told piss off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But that's when all the attacks started. Right around then, in 1984, people started calling the media started attacking him, call him Wacko Jacko, and they they said they claimed he was sleeping in. Well, actually, you should ask him. Did he actually sleep in a hyperbaric chamber?
I'm getting a yes on that. Yes.
He did.
Yes.
Okay. He denies he ever. There's a video where he actually denies doing that, and but but apparently he did have a prosthetic nose. I think Michael was a little obsessed about his appearance, and I can understand, especially if he did have vitiligo. I'm saying that right. The skin condition where his dark skin starts to whiten.
Yeah.
So apparently he did bleach his skin, although he still will not admit to doing it. So,
Yeah.
but he did have a lot of health issues, and he actually his father taught him that the word his father was actually racist towards white people, is what he claims. He called them the sin. White people are a sin. He says. My father told me being white was a sin. I now know the truth. The truth is white people are not the sin. Could Michael elaborate on what he means by that?
What did his father mean when he said black people are a sin?
No, white people. He said white people are a sin. But Michael says he sees the truth that white people are not a sin. So could Michael elaborate on why he says white people are not a sin?
Okay, so this goes back to the monarch stuff, but I'm going to go back in. I'm going to get off a little bit of topic and go into more of what the Mormon Church believes. The Mormon Church believes that the black people were cursed by Cain. Okay, and this goes back to the Bible, the biblical times, where they believe that if you were a certain color, it was a sin. Michael Jackson believed in the Catholic. He believed in all religions, and I believe that he believed that it was not a sin because we were all created in God's image. He believed in that there was a higher power or higher God. I don't know what he believes now. I know that maybe he believes that there wasn't a God. Maybe he believes it was just source energy. We've talked about that in some of your Super Soldier shows, is that Peter said that there was no supreme God. But if he believes that there is a God, then he believes that everybody was created in his image. So therefore, it is not a sin to be black, Chinese, white, or African American, or Asian, or any other race that may not be part of who they were. But maybe back then, there was a lot of discrimination going on, with his father. And then that's when Martin Luther King came in, and Martin Luther King was saying, hey, guys, it's not a sin to be black. It's maybe God is black, maybe God is everything, because they say God is everything and that we are part of God and we're part of the universe. And I was listening to a documentary, not to change the subject, but Jim Carrey was talking about that, how I was listening to it last night, how he was saying that when he died, he saw himself as everybody, as the whole entire universe. So I believe that based on people's experiences or their belief systems, the programming that they already have and now is what they're gonna take in their next life in the review when they go through their review process. Is they're going to be shown these different types of fragments or fragmentations, or even programs that have been programmed into us. So I believe that Michael Jackson knew the truth, and this was actually his truth, and he wanted to let people know that it is not a sin to be a certain color.
Great, yeah, and he wrote a song about that, Black and White, about unity amongst races. Okay, so what do you think Michael Jackson would have done if he was never killed? what do you think he would have actually gone on to in the last 10 years? Could you ask him what goals or projects he would have worked on? Roughly 10 years. It has been 10 years, but close enough.
What he was still.
I'm
Was that
sorry,
what your
what?
was that your question? What would he
Yeah,
have
what
done?
would he have done if he wasn't have killed? What projects would he have worked on?
He would have made more songs of the Exploser of Truth. He would have worked with Donald Trump because he knows Donald Trump is a much easier person to work with when it comes to conspiracy relations. Because I was very shocked when Donald Trump was working with Alex Jones on his video when he made the video with Alex Jones, because we know Alex Jones is like one of the biggest conspiracy people in the world, and that he does a lot of self-exposure and everything like that. And I think that's great, that Donald Trump would actually get on the show, because you haven't seen a lot of presidents do that. I mean, not even John F. Kennedy would do something like that. But we know John F. Kennedy was the closest to come when it came to getting rid of the Federal Reserve and making the world a better place. And I wouldn't be surprised that he knew a lot about Michael Jackson. A lot of these people did. And somehow they were tied in with his family, or they were tied in with their families, because we know that the rich know the rich. And, somehow they're all kind of connected, I believe, in some way. But I believe Michael, not getting off the topic, but Michael Jackson would have worked with Donald Trump. He would have helped to expose the Illuminati, get more songs out there to heal the children, and even create a center for the children that they can go to integrate them and to help them, just like the center that you wanted to create in Florida. I believe that Michael Jackson would have created some of these centers to actually help the children and the people that were poor and they were hungry, and help the world with more money and stuff like that. You even said it himself, he wasn't greedy, and that he helped people, and he put trust in Madonna, and he put trust in
Johnny
some
Depp.
of these Johnny Depp. Yeah. And that's the message he wants to put out. Yeah.
Well, maybe he should have put Trump as a financial advisor. Does
Probably would have.
does Michael Jackson have any messages for President Donald Trump?
Yeah, he just wants to tell Donald Trump that he's doing a great job. He's a wonderful president. He's really exposing the truth. He's really getting it out there. He's spinning the wheel of fate, getting the wheels moving in motion. And he's going to really help. But he wants Donald Trump to be very careful. He wants Trump to know that, to be very careful, and to really, move in there very slowly. Not to the extent of what Michael Jackson did and John F. K. Because John F. K. was probably one of his best, was a great idol to Michael Jackson. And he has been spending a lot of time on the other side with JFK, from what he's telling me right now. So
Has Michael been able to communicate with Ryan White?
yes, he has.
Okay. Does he have any messages?
Ryan White.
Yeah, from Ryan or
Remind me who Ryan White is.
Ryan White was a boy that he had a transfusion and he got HIV, and he died in the early 90s, and Michael wrote a song about it. And also he visited Michael Jackson and Donald Trump together visited Ryan White's family, and he also gave Ryan a car too right before he died, I think on his 16th birthday. It's a beautiful song, and not many people know about the story of Ryan White. But does Michael have any messages from Ryan?
Well, he's telling me that Ryan is definitely on the other side with him. He has spent a lot of time with Ryan, and he wants Ryan to know. This might go a little bit deep, but he wants Ryan to know whatever happened to him was not something that he did. It wasn't through what he thinks what happened to him. Okay?
So there was a conspiracy there?
There was there was a conspiracy there. Yes.
Because that's not actually mentioned in the press. They just say it was just an accident. So you're saying that it was probably intentional, or maybe somebody was experimenting.
Somebody was experimenting. Yes.
Because I know Michael, he also says that he saw some shapeshifters from AEG, Sony's group AEG.
That's part of it. Yes.
And he slept with, he would cover up windows because he was worried about portals,
Yes.
go to hotels. Could you comment about that?
That's also part of the conspiracy of him being game stalked. That was part of the of them. Basically, that's the first stage of before they try to attempt to kill you. Is they're sending out a message saying, "Hey, you know, you need to back this off, or we're going to shut you down. We're going to delete you." And so that's kind of like their little way of saying, you know, it's called masking, which I call it. You know, where I get a lot of the clients that come to me where they're saying, "Hey, I've been targeted, blah blah blah," and I've kind of explained to them, you know, what that means and how that's going to help them and how my software could help them. So I believe that whatever he went through was part of the targeting process, and it was a message saying, "Hey, you need to back off, or we're going to delete you." You know what I mean? We're going to assassinate you, basically.
Okay. And so what else should we bring? I feel like there's a few more things we should mention before we wrap this up. One thing I was going to say is that Michael had a message for his father, Joe. Now, Joe was apparently, a lot of people accuse him of being abusive, but Michael actually doesn't view that way. He says that, he says, I didn't comply with what he wanted because I wanted, Michael actually says, I wanted to not be a singer, not be a dancer. I wanted to be different than my brothers and sisters. I wish that my father to be truthful to my other brothers. I don't know what I wish that my father to be true. I'm not sure. We'll have to go ask what that means. Because they didn't get abused as I did. I got the belt, burnt by hot iron, thrown in a bathtub of hot water, and whipped. But it was like how the Germans raised their children. And apparently his father did give him hormone injections to delay puberty, and some other things that probably messed up his health later on. But he doesn't really blame his father because he does think that his father it helped him become who he is now. Yeah, so he also says that I asked him about if he had any messages for Catherine, because I asked him, well, what do you think about Catherine raising his children? And he said, in his words, that's funny, man. So I don't know what. And of course, Catherine is a Jehovah's Witness, and she's got a lot of religious undertones coloring her reality. But I mean, she doesn't seem like a bad person, I think. But I think, considering where they came from and the background, they've been through a lot, so I can kind of understand a bit about that. And we got messages for all the kids and Quincy Jones and Latoya, Janet, but that's some of this is private, so I'm not going to release any of that. But I feel like we've got to a good point where we've covered most of what I wanted to discuss. Would Michael like to? Would you communicate any messages to the audience members, maybe to some of his fans?
Yeah, he just wanted to let people that he wishes that he was still alive to continue his work and his music, and he misses his fans, and he hopes that they miss him, and that we can further the investigation of his death and try to discover what really happened behind that, and also some of he wants to write some more of the songs that we're going to be channeling down the road, which we're going to share on the video in our next session. and give people a chance and the opportunity to ask him questions. That's what he wanted to let people know.
Okay, Adrian, was there anything else from Michael you wanted to cover?
He just wanted to let everybody know to continue to heal the world and help the children and play his music and his memories and remember him as an idol, you know, and that he's telling me that he's going to manifest himself to let people know that we're really talking to him, that he really wants to help people, and that he's hoping that we can become all part of his family. You know, and also do your own research on Michael Jackson. You know, don't just take anybody's word for it. Just do your own research. What really happened to him in the past? He wants people to read articles, read books, read newspapers, whatever you can do to figure out more history on the information that he wants, because he really wants to throw that information out. I mean, he even wanted to get Peter the Insider to figure out more of the depth of what went on, and he understands that those kinds of people are very busy. But he would pay millions and billions of dollars to figure out who this person was and how to revive himself so that he can move on in his next evolution, and he'll see everybody on the other side.
Well, Michael commented that he wanted to be brought back. I guess theoretically they could if they brought back a clone. But then again, Michael also said he wanted to wanted to go back to reincarnation and come back as a white person. So which is it?
True. Yeah, he did want to come back, but he wanted to come back as a white person.
Okay, so probably he'll probably be doing that. Um, does he have a timeline? When we'll be seeing him again? Would be another generation or what?
He's thinking by the next couple of years. He feels like by the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing some huge changes, and he's hoping that by then we're going to start seeing a lot more events that are going on with the Federation.
Right. And does Michael have any comments about my Beat It jacket?
Yeah, he just wants to say it's really cool. He thinks it's awesome. He thinks, you know, it really shows him that we're like one of his biggest fans, and we're like one of his biggest friends. That's somebody that he can trust, somebody he can be open with. Yeah, I mean, he can go to any medium or channeler, but it's just like what Peter said in one of the visions. Once you're chosen, once you're one of the chosen people, then you are the people that are going to be chosen to deliver this message. And I believe that me and James are one of those two people that he's chosen right now. And that's why that prompting came to James and said, "Hey, Adrian, you need to channel Michael Jackson." I said, "Hey, okay, let's do it." So we're trying to get as much information as we can to throw out there and make these types of videos. So he just wanted to mention.
Wonderful. Yeah, I think maybe Prince actually might have been coming through earlier, and I don't know. And Elvis apparently is still alive. Although, well, he was alive when back in 2009. I don't know if he's still alive now, but okay. Well, there you have it. Thank you, Michael. And maybe next time we can actually do a little bit more channeling, because I know we really didn't have a lot of time for that because there's so much content. But that should really give the audience members a little background information here. And again, visit forcevspower.com to order a session with Adrian, and you could actually channel other entities as well. It doesn't have to be Michael Jackson if you want to talk to someone on the other side. And how do we know that you're actually communicating with these entities and not some other spirit or some other entity that just wants to jump in and play games? How do you know this is really Michael?
Well, I've asked Michael to do certain things like move my curtains, or I've asked Michael to leave a certain perfume or certain things like that, and he has followed through so far. And I've noticed there are some times where my curtains have changed. And hopefully, one of these nights I can record and ask that question for Michael to do those things so that we'll have some type of validation that we're talking to the real Michael Jackson. So.
Awesome. All right. Well, so there you have it. And Also visit neologicaltech.com to support the work I do. Purchase a meditation device or the elixirs that I sell, and again, put your comments in there for any other future questions. We will get back to that as soon as we can. So once again, everybody, thank you for listening in, and until next time, bye bye.
For our children, heal the world.
Please consider supporting Super Soldier Talk by purchasing your own Neo Meditation device. Your Neo Meditation device will help you reduce stress, integrate trauma, enhance intuition, enhance clairvoyance, and enhance creativity. Get yours now at www.neologicaltech.com.